Warning, this show's for guys. Tell your mother, sister, wife, or girlfriend to leave the room. This show is not for them. It's for us.
I want a rub and tug.
Where is this car coming from?
The chicken fights! Ah! When the girl sounds beautiful, the rest of her, good night.
Checking the thermometer, it's hotter than the sauna. Wanna heat it with a passion while we blow up the barometer. It's rising.
You guys ever been to the cockfights?
Yeah, right.
You ever been to a cockfight?
Do they actually exist?
There's no way.
The cockfights exist.
I didn't know they were
happen.
real.
A buddy of mine is crazy. So he's like, one of these days, he has a line on a buddy of his knows a guy who has a stable of chickens. You know what I mean? He's a cockfight trainer and has been giving steroids to the new chickens. So he's like, hey, you know what? We're gonna win some fucking money in the chicken fights, you know what I mean? Because we have a good trainer and we have anabolic steroids in the chickens. How do you ever lose that bet? So he's like, hey, you wanna come to the cockfights? And I'm like, well, hell yeah. Well, I mean, it's a license to print money, let's go. So we get to the cockfights. I think I brought about, I'm gonna say $400, you know what I mean?
Holy fuck.
Well, you can't come with like $10 to a chicken fight. I mean, you know, they'll throw you the hell out of there. You go in there, immediately they're serving beers. They got like a fully catered event. It was actually very nice. It was like a bar mitzvah. Yeah, we get front row center seats because they were like, hey, you know what, you guys, check it out like firsthand, you know? And I tell you what, I'd never been before, and the first fight you see, you're like, oh man, it's kind of brutal, you know? And then by the second fight, you're like, die, chicken! You die! And then you got like money and you're shaking, there's feathers all over the place, and you're just like, I can't even believe the chicken fights! They're ready to put you in the ring by the end of it. You're like, I can't even believe it! This is the greatest goddamn day of my life! It is the best goddamn time you ever had as a goddamn chicken fight.
How the fuck do the chickens get amped to fight? Is there music?
They got a chicken across the way and another chicken across the way, and they put them in the ring. So they have a chicken that they know, a rooster that they know from the stable that's not a fighter, but he's just an instigator. And they hold them. Yeah, they have an instigator chicken come in, and they hold.
How do you become an instigator chicken?
Well, you're like the asshole of the chickens. You're like, you don't know much of a fighter, but you're like, hey, buddy, what the fuck's going on?
Cocksucker.
Hey, you got some shit going on, buddy? And they just get them like face to face. They hold their tails and just like, hey, you know what?
Allen Iverson of chickens.
I bet your girl last night. How about that? You like that fucking shit? Like whatever the fuck. And then they pull that motherfucker away, and then all he sees is the other chicken. He's like, oh, fuck this now. This shit is on. I walked off like Barry Bonds. I was like, all right. Anybody want to dance?
To stop me, you would have to be like Superman. But I'm kryptonite so powerful, I'll be surprised if you could stand.
I used to like play baseball back when I was a kid, and I went to a club one time. For some reason in this club, they had kind of it was a whole motif of they had like a beach bar, and they had like volleyball set up, and they had a batting cage, and it was kind of, but it was also a dance club kind of thing. So it was always a fun place to be. So I have like a few beers, and going to the batting cage. The guys like feeding balls into the batting cage. I don't mean to brag, but at the time I was playing a lot of baseball. I was really connecting with these things, you know what I mean? I wasn't striking out. Mind you, they were only 30 miles an hour or whatever. But I was hitting dingers, you know what I mean? So I'm just hitting dingers like all day long on this thing. And apparently the guy who was feeding balls into the thing, there was a chick that was from the club that was kind of leaning over his shoulder talking to him. And I hit a ball as hard as I've ever hit a ball in my life. I just crunch it. It goes straight through the hole in the thing, hits this chick right between the tits, knock her into the banana bar, like destroyed. She was destroyed. I walked off like Barry Bonds. I was like, all right, anybody want to dance? She was like, hey, I don't know, maybe you want to go, right over the banana bar, KO. I don't know, rarely do you get a KO.
So she was all right eventually.
No,
I don't know, she's dead probably.
She's probably dead.
I use my wicked powers and such. My rivals got them down, so